it a shot. And New Jerseyans know that. That's why our state always punches above its weight. Because we know exactly what we can do if we are given a shot. We can lead scientific innovation, create art that moves millions, build small businesses to lift up entire communities and homes to pass on to our kids. But for families to succeed, they need to be able to afford to live here, to thrive in New Jersey. And in too many cases, the promises from politicians to open doors to opportunity have been empty. Platitudes that don't address the key issues keeping families up at night. But I promise, as your governor, if it's keeping you up at night, it's going to be keeping me up at night. And as I have traveled across this state, speaking to thousands of New Jerseyans, your stories have stuck with me. But even more often, I heard you talking about your concerns for others. How are my neighbors going to feel safe? How are my children going to succeed? How are people who are struggling going to get access to food and health care? And most inspiring, how can we help? Your stories are why, again and again, I'm reminded of why I love New Jersey. And I have heard, beneath the noise, beneath the politics, a simple truth. Too many people are working too hard and still falling behind. They worry about rent or mortgage payments that rise faster than paychecks. They worry about the cost of childcare that rivals college tuition. They worry about utility and healthcare bills that feel unpredictable and overwhelming. They worry about whether their children will be able to build a life in this state. And these concerns are not abstract, they're not ideological, they're an everyday reality for people in this state. So let me tell you plainly what my administration stands for. Lowering cost, taking care of your kids, making government accountable to the people. And as we get to work, charting out success, I have listened to you, and I have heard you. I've heard you in Trenton, where you want safer streets for kids, redevelopment programs that work, and to provide jobs, and for the state to pay its fair share. I've heard you in South Jersey, where you want jobs and transportation investments, innovative businesses, and not to be forgotten or left behind. I've heard you in Hudson County, where you want housing you can afford and to open small businesses without costly bureaucracy and red tape. I've heard you, New Jersey. We're facing an affordability crisis, and you want costs to come down. And you want that to begin today. You don't want a strongly worded letter, you don't want a 10-year study, and you don't want empty words. In short, you are sick of the status quo. Well, guess what, guys? So am I. So right now, yes, before I even begin this speech, or finish this speech, sorry. Just making sure you were paying attention. I'm going to sign my first in a series of executive orders to declare a state of emergency on utility costs. First, I am issuing an executive order giving the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities the authority to pause new utility requests for additional rate increases, and I will freeze rate hikes to finally provide families with real relief on their energy bills. Second, I am issuing an executive order directing the Board of Public Utilities to open solicitations for new solar and storage power generation, to modernize gas and nuclear generation, so we can lower utility costs over the long term. This is just the beginning, not of my speech, of my work. We're going to take on the affordability crisis, and we're going to shake up the status quo. It won't be easy, and hard choices have to be made to drive down costs as the federal government slashes funding and slams doors to opportunity. But as I learned in the Navy, the only easy day was yesterday. But luckily, we don't need easy here in New Jersey. We have grit. We're tough. And when you hurt our families, we're going to fight. We're going to fight for jobs. We're going to fight for housing families can afford, for good schools, safe streets, and ending skyrocketing utility costs. And look, I know that there are people here, some of them behind me probably, who didn't vote for me. And I know some of you are going to be in my office yelling at me one day about some disagreements, and yet, as we sit here today, I'm ready to fight to ensure that you can do just that without fear of reprisal or worry that you'll be investigated or unfairly prosecuted. I took an oath over 25 years ago to do just that, and you saw me taking it again today. And I am not a leader who will shirk in the course of my duties. So I learned a lot of important lessons in the Navy. I learned that often it's not the profound or the revolutionary that is needed to accomplish the mission. Sometimes it's the basic brass tacks of getting the job done, recognizing and doing your duty. Under this administration, agencies will be judged by results, not rhetoric. We will work to make government more transparent. We will work to save you time and money. You may not agree with every decision we make, but you'll know why we made it. And you'll know that all of our decisions are made putting you, the public, first. To my esteemed colleagues in the state legislature, my cabinet, and all the elected officials and civil servants across the state, we have all chosen this path of public service. It's a noble calling and it's a privilege. We have a shared responsibility and opportunity to make people's lives better. We do so through competence, knowing that others are depending on us so they can open their businesses, feed their families, or ensure their children are safe and attend great schools. We have to have a strong moral compass to serve. Self-dealing and opportunism are antithetical to our service. And we have to serve with compassion. Sometimes we work with people at really tough times in their lives, when they've suffered a tragedy, when a loved one is facing prison, or when they're scared for their children, or, as I can personally attest to, after they've had a really tough day and had to bring a colicky baby with them to get a driver's license. It is in our power to make their lives easier, better. And at the heart of it, we serve with commitment, a desire to better the world. And at the dawn of our nation, as some of our very first public servants embarked upon their work to better New Jersey, the people of New Jersey chose a state motto. They were among the first to do so. On the heels of a horrible war, they narrowed in on those two things that they felt their countrymen had fought and died for: liberty and prosperity. Today, I take up their work again, protecting liberty, ensuring that power is not placed in the hands of a few, but rather that the universal rights of all New Jerseyans are protected, and prosperity through opening the door to opportunity. That is my commitment as your 57th governor. Thank you. Thank you. And may God bless the great state of New Jersey, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.